What's up, everyone? Welcome back. The last couple of videos I left off with were of my three trikes, and I was kind of gearing up to tuck everything away, leading up to my wife's delivery date for our second kid. So as you can see, my trikes are all tucked away. My big green is up there behind my big red. Excuse the little girl's tricycles up there. Got to start them right. Got to get them on some type of trike. Anyway, so I was leading up to that. I was all prepped up and ready to go. And of course, I found another deal which I could not say no to. So anyway, without further ado, welcome my newest project, a 1983 Honda ATC185S. I ended up purchasing this from a local gentleman, which was really, really cool. We ended up having a ton of people in common, or friends in common. So we ended up talking for quite a while. This machine he's owned for a very long time. He said he originally got it from Tennessee. I don't know by what circumstances he was out that way, but he was in Tennessee, and he claims that this is a Tennessee bike. It is 100% original. The mud guards in the back are good. The mud flaps. The rear carry handle is great. It's got the Honda line hitch, which I'm going to have to straighten out just a little bit right there. The exhaust, I'm not sure if you can see. The exhaust has seen better days. I'm going to try to either repair that exhaust or just replace it totally. I haven't figured it out yet. Seat is in fantastic condition. There's no rips or tears in it. Beautiful. The tank is awesome, with the exception of a little wear here from the seat, which is par for the course. There are no dents in this thing, and the inside is spotless. It is beautiful. That was one of the first questions I had for him. I'm like, hey, what's the inside of that tank look like? He said it was spotless, and he wasn't lying. So anyway, the tires on this thing are the original H-Trak OEM tires. Zero dry rot in them at all. They're still soft, and they're still 100% usable. So I plan on cleaning them up, hydrating them with some type of tire treatment just to kind of keep them soft and supple. And I'm going to leave them on there. The forks don't seem to be leaking at all. It's all dry around there. The boots are good to go. The motor is dirty, but I think that, yeah, you can see that is going to clean up beautifully. This motor, I guarantee, is going to look almost new, within reason anyway. The only two cracks I found, this is a previously repaired crack, which I think I can kind of work some type of magic with. We'll see. Hopefully I can repair that to some degree. I don't want to make it 100% mint. Maybe I can kind of stitch it from the back, make it look better, or just kind of throw some zip ties on it and use it as is, whatever. And this, there's a little crack in the front fender here, which this I think is able to be fixed from the backside. I'll end up pulling that off. This bike was not running when I got it. He gave it to me, or he sold it to me rather, with it not running at all. I said, you know what? These old Hondas, what can go wrong? What could potentially be wrong with this thing? These things want to run. So I bought it, brought it home. The gas tank was empty, so I unscrewed the drain plug in the carburetor, poured some fresh gas in, and then I ran some of that gas and let it drain out the carburetor in case it wanted to rinse any kind of schmutz out from inside that bowl and inside that carb. So anyway, I did that, screwed the drain screw back in. I pulled it twice on full choke. It gave a little sputter. Pulled it once on half choke, and she fired right up. However, I switched it to no choke, and it died. So what that leads me to believe is that the pilot jet is most likely clogged up on this bike, which is not a big deal. That is to be expected on an older bike, which has been sitting for a little bit. Totally cool. These carburetors are very, very easy to service. So that is going to be Probably the next video I film is the teardown of that carburetor. So this is going to be a bike which, I don't know. I don't know what my plans are for it. My plans are certainly to make it look a lot better. I will probably wet sand these plastics. I've got a new decal kit on the way from DDR Slap. And I'm just going to give it a lot of love and make sure that maybe it could serve the next 30 to 40 years without fail. And that's what these machines are built to do. These machines are not failures. They're not built to fail. These are built to run. And I'm sure that any Honda owner, especially any Honda trike owner, would agree with me. This exhaust, like I said, it's a little pitted in the back. There's a couple holes in it where, in the silencer, where it looks like water maybe was caught and ended up rotting through. So I'm gonna see if I can pull this off. This head pipe, I'm gonna see if I can take the 2 bolts out there, take it out. And this, I think I'm just gonna try to clean up and paint with some high temp paint. I think that would come out really well. Plus it would give me some access. Wow, look at that motor's gonna clean right up. It's gonna look great. So anyway, that would give me access to more of the nooks and crannies up inside that motor. I think that this is an awesome project, and I may hold on to this for my wife. This is just a little bit too small for me. I'm a little bit more comfortable on my big reds and my 250R, but this is definitely something my wife can putt around on once she gives birth and everything's all stabilized and normalized to however normal can possibly get with 2 kids. But anyway, this is my 1983 ATC185S. Welcome to my newest project, and I look forward to sharing its progress with all of you. All right, everyone, here's an update on what's going on. I pulled off the rear plastics and the carburetor, as well as the air filter, and I took a bunch of different brushes to the motor, along with some Simple Green, which I love to use. Doesn't seem to harm anything. And it looks, well, the looks speak for themselves. Came out awesome. All that crud came off, all that nasty, I think it was like sawdust and just years of dirt came off. Looks fantastic. I scrubbed the sidewalls of the tires. I still haven't lubed them up with maybe some SC1 or some type of tire wetter just to kind of make them a little bit more supple. Cleaned up very, very nicely. Very nicely. Much more nicer than I thought. So anyway, like I said, just giving you guys an update. This is the current state of the exhaust, and as suspected, there is a hole here in this end of the exhaust. Everything else is actually pretty sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a round wire brush attachment and give everything a good scrub and take all the corrosion off. And I'm thinking of just kind of cutting this exhaust right here. And I may weld on another tip, I may not. I may just kind of leave it as is. We'll see how it sounds. I could always do something down the road. These are the tools I use, nothing crazy. There's the brand new air filter. There's my hypermasculine set of brushes. Anyway, that's where we stand. Next we'll be tearing apart the carburetor, and I will see you guys all at my workbench. All right, everyone, here we are at the workbench, and this is the state of the carburetor. It's pretty nasty. I'm not sure what the inside's gonna look like. However, the insides of these bells are pretty funky. So I'm expecting a little bit of schmutz inside. Let's give it a peek. By the way, I find it's beneficial to use the Japanese style screwdrivers. I believe they're called JIS screwdrivers. They seem to fit into these Phillips head screws much better than any other screwdrivers which I've used. Alrighty, third and final Phillips head. Excuse me. Couple more twists. right, set these aside. I'd actually pull this tube off. Make it a little easier to work with. All right, let's take off this float bowl and see what's going on. All right, there she goes. And as expected, there's a little bit of gas in here, which is okay, but there is some nasty, yep, there is definitely some nastiness. Oh, excuse me, I just bumped the camera. Make sure we're back on scene. So, you can definitely see that schmutz floating around in the bottom of that bowl. So that's what I'm suspecting is in my idle jet, which is keeping it from running at idle. So, what I'm going to be doing now is properly draining this gas somewhere appropriate and pulling this carb apart. Now, this is a 4-stroke, so this is your fuel screw, I believe. It's an air screw on a 2-stroke and a fuel screw on a 4-stroke, I believe. Let's take out these jets and see what's going on. Nice and easy. You don't want to strip out these flathead portions of these jets. And I suspected that is pretty clogged. I can barely make out a little bit of light coming through the end of that jet. So we'll be cleaning that out. Let's take out this main jet. Some schmutz around the main jet as well. See if I can see a little bit of light. Main jet looks better. Oh, way better. It's a huge opening, so it's night and day difference. But the top part of this carburetor is really, really dirty as well. So the floats look good. Action on the float looks good. But I'll still be pulling this apart. Let's take out this pen. Push that guy out. Set that aside. Set this aside over here. Take out our float. Plunger, there we go. Floats look good. Yep. Now, if you look inside there, you can kind of see what I'm talking. Yeah, you could definitely see what I'm talking about. This is what causes problems in small carburetors, because the idle jet in these tiny engines, they're really, really small. So a little bit of foreign particle or substance like that can make a big, big, big problem inside of a tiny, tiny jet. So we'll be pulling off. Use some pliers on those. Pull that off. By the way, if these hoses are ever stubborn for you and they don't want to pull directly off, take a set of needle nose pliers and gently grab around the outside and just twist around the circumference of whatever they're seated onto, and that should help loosen it up. Choke works appropriately. Alrighty, like I said, we'll be tearing this apart, and I'm going to be putting it in my ultrasonic cleaner, setting the solution to a warm temperature, and letting this whir for a while. Help break up the nonsense inside here. Anyway, I'll check back with you once the process is complete. I'll show you a difference of what the carb looked like then and what it looks like now. All right, everyone, here is our carb now. This is post Ultrasonic cleaning, 50-50 simple green mixture with water. As you can see, the float bowl is beautiful, spotless. This portion of the carburetor, the upper portion, is also equally spotless. I put everything together already. Just in case anyone's wondering, the pilot jet on a stock carb is a 38, and the main jet is a 98. Yep, that looks right. The fuel screw was one full turn out from gently seated. Came out awesome. I did remember what the pilot jet looked like compared to what it looks like now, and there's a huge difference. You were barely able to see any light previously, and now you can clearly see light through the pilot jet. Ultrasonic cleaning is awesome. I don't know, just from my own kind of insanity, I put a little dielectric grease around the O-ring just to keep it saturated, keep it soft, and promote a better seat on the top portion of the carb. But also, if you're going to be doing all this, make sure you blast everything out with compressed air when you're done with it, because even though you're cleaning it in the ultrasonic cleaner, it could be breaking up dirt and it could be remaining in the passages of the carburetor. So make sure you blast everything out with compressed air. This elbow was completely brown earlier. Now it's black and beautiful. And this is, once again, the stock gray color, which looks great. So anyway, we'll be reassembling the carb now, and we're going to be installing it back on the bike. Hopefully that was the missing link. See you back on the bike. Well, we're back. Since I saw you last, or you saw my project last, I've installed the carburetor, routed all of the tubing appropriately. In the meantime, I also put a fresh coat of black paint or high temp paint on the exhaust. As discussed earlier, I don't know if you can see that. There it is. It's kind of dark, but you can see it. I cut the tip off the exhaust, mostly the part that was rotted off. I just kind of left it for now. We'll see how it does. Worst case scenario, I could always weld something to the end of it. But cleaned it up, did everything the way it's supposed to be. Let's see what happens. Run. Well, there you go. That's a Honda, ladies and gentlemen. These things are made to run. 1983 ATC185S. Oh, it's got a little hiccup in there. I think that means it's a little bit lean, but it's also missing the airbox lid. So that could be causing it. I'm going to pick up the airbox lid from the gentleman who sold it to me later on today. So, whoops. Maybe when I put that airbox lid on there, it'll limit some of the air it's getting and level out the mixture. We'll see. If not, that's an indication to start adjusting the fuel screw. So anyway, this is my 185S 1983. Hope you've enjoyed the journey. It's been fun. I hope it's been informative for you. Please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and before I forget, there's the guard for the exhaust, which I'll be installing once it dries. But anyway, again, I keep doing this. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much, and ride safe.